Third. Well, good evening, gentlemen. It's the first Zoom meeting of February, and we are past January, the coldest month and usually the worst month of the year for us in New England, and looking for warmer weather to creep in over time. But at any rate, good to see you all. Nice crowd. Um, I have a few announcements that I will want to share here. Not a huge amount, but a few things. Well, first and foremost, of course, we have the New England Vintage Electronics Expo on March 2nd, so it's not that very far away. So if you haven't bought tables, which I know many of you have, um, they're moving right along. Sales are pretty good. The tables for power are pretty much been snapped up and assigned. They are always the most popular and they sell pretty quickly. But there seem to be still a fair number of biddle tables. So if you're thinking about it, just reach out and buy your table and Al will take care of you. Um, and it's also less than 4 weeks away, so it's coming right around the corner. In terms of other vintage electronics events, we do have the Vintage Radio and Communications Museum of Connecticut swap meet, and that'll be on February 8th, this coming Saturday from 8 to 1 p.m. So if you want feel the need to kick off and buy some vintage electronics, don't hesitate but run over there. Just save some money off for March 2nd. Um, and then on February 15th, there's the Algonquin Amateur Radio Club annual flea market, and that's in Marlborough, Massachusetts. That one's from 9 to 12 p.m. So a couple of things to do is we're starting the calendar. This is the start of the year where time of the year where there's more activities available for us to do. So that's a good sign. Um, on a couple of minor announcements is the calendar page on our website. I've been able to get more show dates, so I have been able to update the dates since I had a lot of TBDs on there because of our some of the vintage electronics events hadn't updated their calendar yet. So things like the MIT flea market has posted their dates, so I've updated our website. So we should be it's starting to fill out better. And and last but not least, I imagine many or all of you have seen the constant contact announcement about Bruce Phillips selling off his collection. So, if any of you are looking for something special and in outstanding condition, both electronically and cosmetically, there's the man to see. But plus, I believe as I recall, I think he said he's offering a discount for members if they buy at the show or something. But reach out to Bruce if there's something you're burning to have in your collection, because he probably has it. And I think that's all the announcements I can think of offhand. Does anyone have any announcements I might have overlooked or something else going on that's not even on our website?
Nope.
Sounds like no. All right. Well, this is a round robin. This is our first round robin for 2025. We had an excellent couple of meetings in January, thanks to Larry and his wife Elaine for doing the great troubleshooting of the Zenith radio, which really brought in a lot of good attendees, a lot of great discussion, and again, thank you for Larry for doing that. So for us, we're going to do some round robin. So everyone, we get to catch up from all that happened, from after our Christmas show. If anyone has got any great stuff from Santa or doing an interesting project, or this is an open forum. It means open season. Doesn't, if you have no like vintage electronics things going on, you're free to share whatever you'd like to. Um, but anyway, what I'm going to do for benefit of his time, I'm actually going to kick off to Joe to let him start because I know he has to leave early.
Well, thank you, John. And thank you for, I think we're going into 5 years now of this, aren't we?
We
Pretty
are.
much.
Really?
Yeah.
The fifth season. How about that?
Yeah. Didn't we
Thank
kick
you,
this off?
COVID.
Yeah. I think we kicked this off in March of 2020 for the Zoom Fest that we had way back when. So
Indeed.
thank you for your efforts for all these years.
Oh, my pleasure.
Um, on my side of the fence here in Maine, where we are still at 3 degrees, I have been working on a Meisner Model 8C. And for benefit of your eyes, who may not know what a Model 8C is, I'll bring it up here on the share. And that's what a Meisner Model 8C looks like.
Oh, oh,
Front
that's
end.
really good. That's a handsome
Uh,
radio.
yeah, back originally, I believe that radio sold in 1947 for the princely sum of $199. And it was known as a receptor back then. Uh, if you look up the data sheets on it, you're going to find two different versions of this. The original one had an AC outlet on the back, an RCA jack for a phono input, and it also had a choke on the output. Well, they came around with Model 2. Model 2 was similar, but on some of the Model 2s, they deleted the AC outlet and the RCA jack for the phono input. What they didn't come out with was any data sheets for the Model 3, and it's all labeled as the Meisner 8C, the letter C. And what I ended up with was the third version that's not documented very well. Uh, in the front end of it, they had a pair of six AG5s uh, originally in the early model and in the second model. But in the third model, they changed it over to a 6AU6. Deleted the output choke. They deleted completely the AC outlet and the RCA input jack. And they did a few other little strange, no, I wouldn't call them strange. They just did other things. Essentially, my theory in this is that they took this, what was left of their production run of chassis. They looked at what they had for components to get another run done. Saw they didn't have enough 6AG5s, so they put the 6AU6s in there. And the 6AU6 is essentially the same as a 6AG5, only it's wired externally instead of internally. They connect, I believe, the cathode and the grill or the grid or something like that together. One of them. It's not important in the scheme of things here. What's important is it's a headache. Uh,
Mhm.
I finally got it all finished up the beginning of the week. Carl, probably know Carl Nord, our treasurer. He and I were on the phone for about a half hour one night. Of course, he's working blind. He can't see what's going on here. And we're looking at some things here. In fact, let me see if I can drop this and I'll bring up a schematic of it. Um,
But
give-
what are the dimensions of that unit? Because I have one that looks very similar to that, but I think it's the version 2 you were talking about
well, the
based on.
cabinets were all the same, Kanoa.
Okay.
What
All right.
they,
I can't tell looking on my phone whether that's like 2 feet wide or 1 foot wide, you know.
let me drop the share a second so I can get it back. What am I doing here? Just to give you an idea. Let's see where we at here.
Is that's one of the FM tuners that I use to
FM receptor.
yeah, that I use to add to my old AM shortwave
Yeah.
consoles to make them a little more usable.
That's late 40s, early 50s, Joe. It's
Yeah.
a very handsome cabinet, clean. Like I always liked the late 40s AM FM radios.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Let me get the
And when I was in North Reading, I was, always pretty close to either powerful FM local stations or I've got an FM transmitter of my own, so I could just put my own program material out on like 100.0 and then just
so
tune into it.
Hmm.
this would be the middle version of the 8C. This is the SAMS sheet. You're probably familiar with these.
Yep.
Down
Absolutely.
here, they list the
Indispensable.
6 and the 6AG5 as the first and second mixers. And they kept everything else the same. And let's scoot down here a little bit. I really like the SAMs. I like the photo parts
Yeah, they're terrific.
on the
Yes.
top of the chassis. Now, you remember I mentioned about the choke, that they delete the choke. So when we look at the schematic, ignore the choke. But as you can see here, they deleted the RCA jack. I don't think that's that, and they got rid of the AC outlet as well. Here's the bottom, and some more stuff. And here's our old friend, the schematic. Okay, here's the choke, number 30, whatever that is there. And some other things they changed. They put a 3-gang electrolytic in there. Instead of a 20-20-10, they did 320s together. So that was one of the changes. The 6AG5 is up here and up here. And as I mentioned, the 6AL6 or 6AU6, excuse me, they wired it so that it would accept that. The 6AG5 is wired internally, where the 6AU6 isn't. And I think over here, yeah, they deleted it. So that's your output.
Yep.
Essentially, that's it. Now, with this version, and I've taken a lot of notes on this, and I'm going to do a little write up on it in the newsletter, probably the next issue, just so everybody has some updated information, because you can't go by this voltage chart when you're going to work on the third version. It just doesn't work. Too much of this is Yeah, too much of this is just doesn't correspond to what you're going to see. They lowered some of the voltages on the 6C4. You would think you're going to see 190 volts. Um, in my notes, let's see, you're going to see 100 volts on that 6C4. So it's a 90-volt difference. Some are close. Um, the filament voltage is all the same, except on my version. Which one is it? I think it's the 6AG5. Bring it back a second here. Yeah, the 6AL5, which is way over here in right-hand land. They dropped the filament voltage on that. They went from a 6.3 or so down to somewhere between 4.5 and 5 volts. And I measured all this at 117 just so I can be equal with what the original text did with this. My mains run at 122, so I'm going to have to do something about cutting it back, because the filament voltage at 122 is cranking up there a little way. So, you know, that's uh,
Mm,
that's
mm.
all I can tell you about this. So,
Yeah, the little 6AL5 is such a tiny tube, it doesn't need a lot of filament.
no, it doesn't.
It
So,
heats up pretty quick.
yeah. All right. I gotta get going, guys. Being paged. But thanks a lot.
All
Oh,
right, thank you.
thank
Thanks.
you, Joe. That was terrific. A nice project. Right. Thank you, Joe. All right. Well, let's see here. That's next on the list. Steve, what's going on?
Yeah, well, aside from medical issues, but I managed to navigate the stairs to the basement lab on crutches beginning of last week. So, if you guys missed it, I'm had a total knee replacement about I can't remember, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, but anyway. But I had some projects in the queue, and I'm back to working on a few more, and I'm trying to get some things restored for Nevi 8 in Castleton,
Hmm.
one of which is a Heathkit IM13 VTVM.
Hmm.
Um, let me share with you some stuff. I can show you what I do in the restoration.
Oh, okay, great.
Uh, let's see.
By the way, so this is a good reminder is that, if people have tables and have something they wanted to say, hey, I've got and I'll be selling, don't hesitate to mention that, as well as if you're looking for something, reach out, either obviously in this meeting, but also on Groups IO. Let's see, and you can,
Uh,
it's
oh,
just
wait.
taking, okay, so we see your desktop. Yep, I know you've got a Mac.
It's an iPad, actually.
I mean, iPad, sorry. Yep,
Yeah, yeah. There we go.
there we go.
Yeah. So, oh, darn it. I hate this. The Antique Radio Forum has got this new JavaScript widget for attachments to posts,
Oh,
and
okay.
it does not get along
With iOS, gets jumpy.
with anything.
Oh, well, there we go.
I got to not hit the the photo, or else it's going to come up. So, I don't completely rekit them, but I got to get access to the range switch. So I pretty much means disconnect everything off the function switch and everything off the range switch and pulling off the sub chassis,
Okay.
and then going through and measuring everything. I find that the precision resistors actually drift quite a lot in these. And even in the lab stuff, like some old HP 410s, maybe the newer ones are better, but the one I got, things are start go through, measure them all, start replacing them with current metal film, and then get everything back together. Cross your fingers, and
Right.
so here's I keep a spreadsheet of all the resistors and measured values and the variance and how they stack up against what the spec is.
Oh, very good.
So
Very good.
there's some that I don't replace, like these 22 megohms in that chain that feeds the bias to buck out the contact voltage on the 6AL5 diodes. Their value is not that critical, so even though they're more than 10% out, I don't bother with those. I do change the first two though, because they form part of the voltage divider that scales it from 2.8 times RMS down to RMS for the meter reading. And then you got to get rid of the battery because that's what kills these things. So in these, you can lift the filament supply from ground and do a full wave rectifier power supply. So that's what I like to do because it puts a less of a load on the filament transformer when you're on the R times 1 scale. If you just do the half wave rectifier, it puts a lot more heating load on the filament winding, and you're already overloading it, even doing it with a full wave bridge. So, but anyway, so I cons up one of those, get everything back together, and then go through and calibrate it at 3 points, 3 cardinal points on each scale. Except I can't get to 1500 because my meter calibrator only goes to 1000. So I stop at 900. But you can see they can pull up the better version of it. Yeah. So you can see that darn widget.
Yeah.
So you can see that you get everything into tolerance, the specified accuracy of the meter. But
Got it.
usually you have to replace some range resistors to do that. Otherwise, you can cal one scale, but if the range resistors have drifted, then the rest of the scales are going to be off. Sometimes I don't get them perfect. Like this one, the DC minus, there's a few values that are just a touch out. So that's probably an unbalanced 12AU7 in here. But I'm not going to spring for a new one and age it and all that stuff. If the fellow, whoever buys the meter, wants to replace it with a new one and age it, then I'll recal it for him. But so that's it. It's got the original probe. So,
Oh,
and it's got the stand.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I replaced the
Looks
line
terrific.
cord on it
Hmm.
because somebody had chopped it off and then spliced it on with some masking tape. So
Nice.
Hey, Steve, was that the 3-ball bearing pot original, or does that something you put in?
no, that's the way they come. That's where I learned about them.
Uh-huh.
It came in handy when I was working on my General Radio 1666 resistance bridge because it's got an 11-turn planetary drive plot like that, and it was all gunked up. So the fellow that sold it to me couldn't get it to zero because the pot was slipping. The drive on the pot was slipping. So I washed out all the grease and then it started working. I didn't have to do anything electronic. So let me show you a few other things that I had. I don't know if any of you know Jeff Sheldon. He's up in Tingsboro. He comes to the NEVEC meets.
Oh, okay. I can't put a face to the name, but I'm sure I've seen him.
Yeah. So he and I both have instances of this very rare VTVM that was made in Acton,
Interesting.
Massachusetts. So
Really
originally
interesting.
what's that?
Really interesting. I didn't know Acton put out those things at one point.
Yeah, it's started out as a Technical Instrument Corporation. It was started by Lucius Packard and H. Scott.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they did some instrumentation. They had a Z meter that they so it measured magnitude and phase of up to low RF, and that was their main product initially. But after a while, they branched out and they started doing more stuff. And one of the things they came out with was this Type 800A BTVM. And then shortly after they came out with this, I don't know where Acton Labs came from, but somehow there's this company called Acton Labs that supposedly merged or took over, the TIC. The TIC sold off their instrument line to them. It's really unclear exactly what happened because the actual surviving corporate entity is still TIC, Technical Instrument Corporation, but their branding was Acton Laboratories, and they're right on Route 62 there, right near the center of Acton Center. The
Oh,
building's
okay.
still there.
Interesting.
They call it like Acton Technology Center or something like that.
Okay.
So I have the TIC version. I've forgotten the serial number 313. And then Jeff on the right has got the Acton Labs version, serial number 373. So these are kind of pretty deluxe. They have a 4 active elements in the VTVM bridge instead of the usual 2, and very high input impedance. And these include a fancy circuit for measuring low currents. Here's a view of the guts. Jeff's is kind of weird because it looks like it's been through, I don't know, it was a prototype or it's been through like some severe accident and somebody went to extreme lengths to rebuild it because there's some odd differences. His probes are all kind of home brewed,
Hmm.
And he's got things like those two L brackets you can see at the top on the right. They're just hanging there in space, not connected to anything. And the wiring layout's a little different because it looks like when it got put back together, the harnesses were put in a little different way. Yeah, the tubes are mounted on rubber shock mounts. They're really high end. And here this is where the probes connect. Mine's opened up. It's got um, I think it's lucite, but some kind of high quality installation with turrets, terminals, and Jeff's has got some homebrew piece of Bakelite stuff that replaced that in his.
Hmm.
Right, his. So it's interesting to try and puzzle. Oh, and his cabinet is actually mine's a standard aluminum fabricated case, and his is hand soldered sheet copper with the hand drilled holes
Wow.
for the ventilation.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's never see two of these together. Here's the thing all splayed out and opened up. I haven't actually started working on it yet, but
Roughly what era would you say this is, Steve? Like 50s, 60s, or?
yeah, late 50s. I don't remember exactly when they came out. 57, I think. I couldn't tell. There's a thread on the Antique Radio forum if you want to know the full details. It's there.
No, okay.
That's what I'm showing you here.
Right.
Let's see. And then there's one more thing I'd like to show you. It's another project coming up, which is one of these Philco Circuit Masters 7001 VTVMs. So Philco had this 7000 series line of test equipment that they came out with post-war around 1949. They're all this engine turned front panel.
Yeah.
With blue-gray hammer tone and the fancy Philco label and blue jewels in the pilot lamp.
Yeah, it's quite attractive actually.
Yeah. So these are the eBay photos.
Okay.
I'm unable to get out of the house to retrieve it. I sent it to my secret mail drop and had Hugh pick it up, and he's holding it for me until I can sneak it in the basement.
Being held hostage.
Yeah. So
A nice condition.
yeah, this is one of the nicest ones I've seen in a while. The thing about this is that the coax connector in the front isn't the usual microphone connector or anything like that. It's actually a Cinch Jones S101D connector. So they're these oddball coax sockets that are like almost impossible to find. Of course, it didn't come with the probe, so I'm going to have to had a RF probe with a 6AL5 in it, and then a regular AC/DC probe and resistance probe. So I'm going to have to make my own probes for it. So I'm on a hunt for these connectors. So I found somebody on eBay that has the complete female and just the knurled ring for the male. There's an insert with the male prong and then a little barrel around that makes contact with the outside of the inside of the female connector. So I'm gonna have to either fab some of those, or I got hopes that some guy said he found one in his junk box and maybe he'll send it to me. Let's see. Let me stop sharing. Did that work?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm back on video now.
Yeah.
So the companions that are sitting here waiting in the queue are a Philco signal tracer.
Oh, okay.
Same style of instrument. And the unique thing about these is they've got an active probe single tracer probe with you know, a tube in it
Hmm.
with a lucite barrel on the end and a couple of lamps to light what you're looking at.
Wow. Pretty
So
nifty.
yeah, and let's see, what else did they make in this? Blanking on the top of my head, what else they had in the slide? Oh, they had a signal generator, of course. I haven't seen one of those, but I did come across, I think, at one of the Brookline meets, this 7051 tube tester. So
Oh,
just an
okay.
emission tester, but it's, you know, got the same finish. Looks pretty slick.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my
All
that's my
right.
life for the next few months, probably.
Wow, that's terrific. You got a lot of stuff going on there, Steve, and some neat pieces of test equipment.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. Well, let's see here. Noah, you're out there. We're in the dark or walking. I know it's getting twilight out in Texas.
Yes, but that's okay. I can.
We're heading to the light. Or
I
is
was
that-
staying away from the garage to hopefully let the kitty get interested in something else. So anyway,
We're heading to the light.
I have a garage stereo to show off that has a little bit of a story behind it. If I go up and let's see, can I actually zoom here? Let me see. I don't know that I can zoom. I can't. Anyway, these are a pair of Electro Voice speakers that have a 12-inch, I guess they call it a triax. It actually has an L pad on the back, and it has a Electro Voice horn tweeter, and the 12-inch woofer has like basically just an oversized, I guess you'd call it a whizzer cone to do some mid-range, and then a horn to do the high end. And these actually, believe it or not, I brought those with me from Massachusetts because I bought them just down the road from where we have our Brookline Event Center when there used to be an automotive swap meet in Hollis on Route 122 or 122A, whatever it was called.
Right.
And I bought these for like $20.
I think they're waterproof, aren't they?
Yes. Well, and these I came to find out were actually, boy, it's been 3 years now since I've moved away. What was what's the town if you go 93 north and you go like into Salem, I guess it is on 93? There was a horse racing.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the name of that place, but anyway, they had these all around to announce the horse races. And so this pair is, you know, like it's two of the, who knows how many they had up at the actual horse racing place. So I brought those with me, and then I just hooked them up to a receiver that I got out of the trash somewhere, and then another place out of the trash. I got this subwoofer that's down on the floor, and then I got a TV if I want to put some sports on or something, and then I also do have a German radio on the shelf if I just want to play my
nice grindage.
Yep, I'm trying to look at the.
Let's see.
It's a big one. It's like a 3045 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's mono, but it's like somewhere between like 58 and 62 or something. Look at you. Get off my fender. Get out of the engine. But I'm not doing too much electronics work because my car is sort of exploded because I was a little low on compression on one cylinder. So I decided rather than live with it and have a slightly rough idle, I would like tear into the motor and rip a head off and take it to the machine shop. And so I've got like half of a cross ram that feeds one side of the engine over there.
Nice.
And then I got another half of a cross ram that feeds the other half of the engine over there. And parts are kind of scattered around. So I'm only doing one side at a time so that I don't lose track of things like head bolts and push rods and valve train components. And so I should be getting sometime this week, I should be getting the passenger side head back so I can put it on. And now I'm wondering if once I put that head back on and put the valve train back in, before I do anything else, I was thinking, look at you, it's terrible. Get down off of there.
Wow.
I
That's
was
exciting.
thinking I might do another compression test down the other side.
Right.
And if I've got good compression and it's even, maybe I'll just button everything back up and live with it. But I've got it so far apart right now. There's another part of me that says it's never going to be easier to get to that other head than
Yeah.
right now. But if
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it, do I want to open up a can of worms, or do I want to just go for it and be done with it and then never have to do it again? Because the only thing worse than having to take it off now would be having to take it all apart in a year and a half when I already had it this far. I was this close and I didn't do it, So
Yeah. That's a
I don't
tough
know.
one, but it is the case of mine as well. You know how that works.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's like, but if it ain't broke, then why am
Yeah.
I taking it apart and trying to fix it? The other side, I was definitely down on compression on one of the cylinders due to a burnt exhaust valve, so I really needed to
Oh,
do it.
yeah. Yep. That'll
I mean,
do it.
most people wouldn't even really notice, but it just had that little bit of roughness at idle, like at a stop sign,
Yep.
because one cylinder just wasn't really helping.
Right.
So anyhow,
Right.
so that's why I haven't shown off an awful lot of electronics
That's an
projects
important job. Getting
lately,
everything.
because this is pretty time consuming, and my feeble, now close to 70-year-old brain is I'm afraid to get too many things taken apart at the same time.
Right.
There's
Well,
that episode of Star Trek, Spock's brain or whatever it
yeah,
was.
exactly. Oh,
And then
that's a great episode.
it starts to wear off, and it's like, oh no, where
Well,
did this go?
oh,
No.
well, what happens is they transfer the knowledge to McCoy. He's putting them back together again. That's when he starts dissipating his knowledge.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
oh, these nerves. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know whether you actually got a good look at my space age TV antenna that I use for my FM reception, though. But they
That's
thought
pretty cool.
that was pretty cool. That was like like a yard sale $5 item. But how could I pass it up? It's
Are
like,
you kidding?
why should I do a dipole when I can do some really funky looking, almost looks like a Jacob's ladder or something?
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
what these. Maybe the RF experts among us can tell me, what is that? Is that just a decoration, or is that supposed to really do something? But there's one on each. And then
Wow.
you've got the rotating switch that is supposed to. It actually does make a difference depending upon what station I'm trying to pick up. As I click that thing around and pick different choices.
That's
Those
great.
are those things are factory made aluminum foil balls.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Factory aluminum foil balls. All right, so that's what I had to show off. Oh, look, and now I should run because the kitty just followed me out of the garage, so that's a good thing.
Well, that's pretty cool. Good luck with the 300G. I hope you could get it back together again quickly and the rough
Well,
idle dissipate.
I'm still relatively new down here, so I know where I would have taken the head if I was still in Massachusetts, but
Right.
I had to do some searching and go to some flea markets and car shows in my other car just to get people's opinion. This other side is still okay over here and lots of fun, but that's for another show and tell day.
All right. Well, we'll certainly we'll give you another opportunity in a future one, Noah, because you have lots of goodies. We can have a whole series, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, I'll sign off on the phone, and then I'll walk back in the house and get on the computer because I'm logged in over there on the computer as well.
Absolutely, not a problem.
Oh, wait, one more thing for the Brookline event that's coming up.
Yeah.
So these Bose speakers with the Bose subwoofer down below, and this, what is it? There's like and this is the Bose. So it's kind of dark in there. I don't know, you maybe can't see it that well.
Yeah, barely.
A Bose head end works great, and I love it. And It all came off the free table at Brookline.
You know, I recognize those speakers. Yeah, you had a good knack. Boy, I'll tell you, if you'd only gone to the last couple of shows in Brooklyn, there was lots of
Oh, I
goodies.
know. It drives me crazy when I see the things when you do those reviews of what was there. But
Oh yeah, even I, who have never taken anything from a free table, took one last meet. So that says something.
yep. All righty. Signing off then. I'll get back to the computer.
Thank you, Noah. Always enjoyable. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Well, let's see here. Who's next? Well, hey, Greg, I know we got something we could show here.
Yeah, coming through better now.
Not too bad. Say a few more sentences. You were maybe breaking up a little bit. Let's see. Give us a
I
little.
just wanted to
Yeah, you're breaking up. Maybe you have to kill your video. You know, by the way, as a side note, I have seen on occasion that if you're down a version, they may have made some bug fixes, whatever, or they've actually introduced bugs into the latest Zoom version. But I've had that happen in the past where a replacement version solved the problem, but it took like a month or two. You know, so it's,
okay.
and I know I updated not too long ago on my Mac. I think it was actually last meeting. So, hey, Greg, can we hear you now?
Yeah, it could be the golden tablet too.
Yeah, absolutely. We can hear you okay. I guess we'll have to lose video for a little bit. So, if you want,
Yeah,
you can give a little background of what we're going to be showing here.
well, I had so many pictures of radios on my camera roll that I just kind of strung them all together, most of them, one picture of each radio. And I think I've got 114 radios that I've restored in the last couple of years in
Wow.
9 minutes.
Wow. That's record time. You did it all in 9 minutes.
9 minutes of
Take
video.
that, guys. So I guess we're going to do, so you have a video. So I'm going to show you, we'll get to see a 9 minute video of like a whole bunch of fantastic looking radios here. So I'm going to share the screen and Greg, jump in anywhere you want and narrate.
Oh yeah, there was some audio to it. You can turn the sound down if you want. I just put an old Glenn Miller broadcast behind it, but
Oh, okay. So I won't share audio. In fact, you could just, if you want to say, just, speak over it as you want to, feel free.
I
So,
can't even break them as fast as Greg
yeah,
can fix them.
they're going to come at a pretty good clip. So I don't think I'll be able to get many of them in, but
yeah, that's probably true. But,
you can always pause it if somebody wants to comment on something.
okay. All right. So let me know if you guys can see. I'm about to start the video. Oh, you know what I should do is, so I'm not going to play the audio. I'll just let it go through. All right.
And you might want to take and see if you can go the full screen on it there. There you go.
What's that? I'm
I
sorry.
see you might want to try and go the full screen if you can.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Because I'm distracted by Mother Tucker's Tavern.
I'm going to mute it. I'm going to mute it because it's going in my ears. So I'm going to go full and here we go, guys. Just look at this. This is just terrific, Greg. I mean, terrific. I remember this.
We're not seeing the video play, John.
No,
Oh,
you're not.
you're not?
You
Oh,
have
it's
to push the play
oh,
button.
oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Your screen sharing is paused. No, I thought I shared.
I see your screen, but it doesn't show the play button being pushed.
Oh, that's
Right.
weird. Let me try that again. That's weird.
It had the triangle on it, like you had to hit play.
Yeah, I was seeing it go by, but let me try this. Let's try this. Okay, so I'm going to go to the video. Okay, can you guys see this?
We see that it's not playing, but we
Okay,
see
right. I stopped. I'm going to restart now. And I'm going to go to full screen. Let me start it going. And just let me know if you.
All right, it appears to be going now. Yep.
It's
No,
going
it's
now.
There's it now. It's funny. I don't see it moving. There we go. I'm gonna go to full screen. Let me know if you guys can see that
There you
okay.
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what it is? I tried sharing just that window and it just didn't seem to work out. Oh, the colonial is beautiful. I remember that. That's terrific. Um,
Audio, John, see if what happens if you want.
I remember that cadet.
Another cadet.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
RCA
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was an RCA.
airline.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Crossley fiber. Oh, I remember that's a great dial face. GE.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I like that ray. I've never seen that one before. Oh, I like the scroll. Is that the one you've done the scroll dial one? You did the
Movie
video?
dial, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
movie dial, yeah. Philco, another Philco. Love it.
Silvertone, yeah.
Love it. Another Silvertone, yeah. Ah, yes, those Zeniths. Forgot what that is.
Airline,
Oh, thank you.
Air
There,
Castle,
Corona. I like that.
Corona,
Coronado.
Coronado, yep.
Love the woodwork on that.
Love the nice bright tuning eyes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The troll, that's nice.
Now this one looks like you could add a tuning eye right above the dial in that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Pull Emerson. Ah,
Mhm.
gee, I recognize that.
Yeah. That's a
I had one of
G2.
those, but it
Okay.
smelled bad.
It smelled bad.
They were fine.
That plastic escutcheon thing or whatever was around there, it stunk.
Oh,
Will Cox. You don't see those very often.
no.
No, that's the cool part. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of these radios are, I don't know whether it's just my
Ooh.
ignorance or they're off brands but they're interesting because I never see them,
Yeah, they
opposed to
do.
the
What is
Zeniths,
that?
RCAs, and
It's
Admirals.
Airline.
airline.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Aircast. I like the scroll. I love it. Philco. Another Philco. Very nice. All nice Midwest stations. Another Philco.
When do you get to the consoles?
I think the rate will go down.
Yeah.
It'll do 9 in 114 minutes.
And that's just to get all the
Well,
feces
that's
out of
okay.
them.
Yeah. Silvertone. I'll tell you, you do such fabulous work there with the woodwork, Greg.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you.
I have a question
There's been a
about
lot of
I have a
Philcos.
question about wood and boxes and things like that when we get to the end of the pictures.
Westinghouse, very nice. What is that, Greg?
That was an admiral, I think.
Oh, okay. Telco. JE. Oh, that's nice. Nice. Good size Philco. Hmm.
I had no idea I did so many Philcos.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking it says a lot of Philcos. Wow, that's a good looking unit.
Yeah.
That's a really good looking unit. Love it. Ah,
Well, I
Zenith.
got one of those.
Break it up a little bit with the Zenith.
Yeah. Couple of
Yeah.
Zenith.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good looking radio. Oh, Belmont, very nice. It's a nice radio. Ah, another Philco.
Clock radio.
Yeah. Wow, that's nice. I've seen this. Very nice. RCA. Firestone. Air Chief. Arvin.
Arvin.
Very nice. Bendix. That's an interesting looking radio. Very nice.
Clarion.
Clarion, yeah. Wow, you don't see those very often. Delco. Farnsworth. Wow, okay. Wow, these are great. Oh wow, that's a very interesting rendition. Catches the eye. Motorola, I think.
Yeah.
Midland.
Midland, yeah. It's a slug tuner.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, Philco. Oh. It's RCA or
RCA. Yeah.
that's all. That's neat. Overtone. John Bendix.
Sonora.
Yeah, it's a great looking color. Yeah, I like it.
Ooh, tritone.
Yeah, that's very nice. RCA. Wow, that catches the eye. I like it. Very 50s.
Do you have the before pictures?
Yeah.
Other
That
series.
would take twice as long.
Yeah. We've had a sample on some of them. There was some real.
It's astounding when you see what some of these things look like, how nasty they were before he worked his magic.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, that's nice. I like that dial face. RCA.
Yeah, it's
big
cool
there.
RCA.
Traveler. Seen it?
It was an
No,
airline.
Oh, sorry, Edith. Right. Yep. You'd be right. Honestly. Oh, I like that. What is that? Is that airline? No.
Arvin.
Arvin. That's right. I remember Arvin did that. They had that sort of that.
Hood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. There's Noah. Gotta bring back. Oh. That's nice.
Warning in progress.
Oh, we got a late entry. The pair showed up.
I got one of those too.
Yeah. That's got the beam of light, that one there.
Oh, right. Dave Crew did a nice presentation on the beam of light a few years ago. Oh, GE.
Yeah, kitty. Stay there.
Ah, yes, that's a nice Philco.
Butterfly, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Emerson. Oh, Charlie McCarthy Ray. Wow. Very nice. Beautiful. For another. Wow. Just terrific, Greg.
RCA.
Yeah. Philco. RCA. Wow. The end. Wow. That's absolutely terrific, Greg. I mean,
Amazing.
that was great. Thank you. That's truly outstanding. And so we get to see all the, and of course, probably most of these, what percentage did you end up keeping, or like a large percentage are in some lucky owner's hands?
Oh, most of them got sold. I think maybe a handful I kept, but I think most all those are gone.
All right. Wow. Awesome. Well, thanks very much.
Sure.
Hey, Rob, how's it going up there in Prescott?
Going pretty well. In the 60s, not too bad. Anyways, I picked up a radio at Hamfest about a month ago. And I do have some slides.
All right.
So
You're welcome to show 'em.
here, and what am I sharing? What the heck? Okay. Can you see that? Am I sharing?
Not yet.
Not yet. What did I do? Ah, got it now?
Yeah, yes, we do.
Okay, this was an interesting radio. There was a guy had quite a few radios, but this one was off to the side, kind of on the end of his pickup truck, and he had a $10 tag on it.
Wow.
$10.
$10.
So yeah, and then he says, well, the transformer that's in there isn't the right one, but here's the right one. He gives me this big transformer. So I had to do it. Well, somebody had been working on this thing quite a bit, and I just say doing, you know, doing all kinds of stuff to it. First off, I looked up the NC 183D, and this is not a 183D. Let's see, how do I get to the next slide here? Come on, where are you?
Typically an arrow to
Yeah,
your
no,
right.
there's no arrows.
Hmm.
But it just didn't show through. Well, and I'll just go to this isn't going to be easy. Okay, this was a 183D. All these tubes are miniatures, and I have seen in the schematics people refer to it as it has a 6SN7.
Well, we're still just
Right.
seeing the first photo.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where you're showing a different photo. You have to probably unshare and then reshare if you moved if you switch windows, unless you're sharing your entire screen, in which case we should see it.
Oh, there we go. There's
Come on, silly kitty.
okay. Do you see the tube layout?
Not yet. We're still seeing the front panel, the first photo you shared.
No?
There we go.
Ah, okay. All these tubes, these are miniatures, as you can tell, and the schematic differences, one's referred to as has a 6SN7, and it's a 6J5 in the 183, and that's just a phase splitter for the audio, but for some reason that's why it's identified. This is a 183. They're all octals. So I had a 183 and a 183D cabinet, which is just different to begin with. As you can see, this is the radio that I did have, that I got running again, all octals. And let's see. That's what the beastie looks like outside of the cabinet.
All right.
Yeah. The only thing is one of this disc right here has a nick in it. I can't, if you get there, you got to kind of go fast through it. It doesn't tune too well. All right. Did a recapping, a bunch of them, but
Yeah.
it was fun, I guess. And this is one thing I wanted to bring up. The electrolytic capacitor must have had some sort of sticker over it. But look I've never seen one with a hole and a little like cork thing in the middle.
Pressure relief, yeah.
Here's where the mystery gets deeper. If you look at it, this is the electrolytic. It doesn't look disturbed. So this radio was built in the late 40s, early 50s, and it has the original electrolytics that are still working. I mean, there's no hum at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's got to have something to do with that. And I'm just wondering if anybody else had seen something like that. And what would you do with it? Are you supposed to add electrolyte or what?
I've seen those, but I know nothing about why it's there. I don't even remember if it worked or not, but I have seen those.
Well, this one's still working. Oddly enough, oddly. Okay. And that's really the whole presentation. I have it there at home.
Wow, that's $10 though. You can't beat the fun factor at $10.
Well, the transformer I took out of it, I could get more than $10 for that. It's a really nice transformer, but it's too high. It was 450 volts, and then a center tap and another 450, which is just way too much for this radio. It needed about 300 volts DC. So that's it.
All right. Well, thank you, Rob. That was pretty darn interesting.
So now, how do I unzoom here?
I can do that for you.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. Hi, Russ. What's going on?
Hey, John. This weekend, the Straight Key Century Club has an event. They have a different event one weekend out of every month. And this one's about boat anchors and tube gear. And I always like to get something on the air with tubes in it. So this year, I wanted to get my Arc 5 station on, but it's not looking great. Let me show you a picture of it and I'll explain it just quickly.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe that works. I don't know. You see a picture of a workbench.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I don't really have room for everything in a good spot. So temporarily it's just sitting on the workbench. On the very left, we see well, it's just a carcass of a Johnson Adventurer, which I converted, actually put a transformer in. Anyways, made a DC power supply for the transmitter, which is a T22, which we see just to the right of the key. On top of the Johnson is just a 24-volt power supply that I have set up. Actually, that's 28, and that's for the receivers. So anyways, the big round box, that's just for the transmitter. The three receivers have their own. Receivers are 24, an R26, and R27. The one that I'll be working with is the R27, which is on the right. So it's for 40 meters, as is the T22. Receivers working well, but my transmitter, I don't know, maybe it's my power supply is not quite right. I get about 5 watts out, but I have not been able to make a contact, nor have I gotten a hit on the reverse beacon network. So I think I have some work to do somehow, some way. But that's where I'm at. So yeah, I'm hoping I'll get on the air. And if I don't make it this weekend, well, we'll still try to get it going.
All right. Thank you, Russ. That's great.
That's all I have.
No, that's good. No, that's always fun just to see what's going on.
Hey, Russ, I got a question. You said the 24 volts is for the receivers. Do those have the dynamotors on them?
Yes. So the two on the right, which is the 26 and the 27, they both run off of dynamotors. They have their original configuration. The one on the left, which is a 24, someone had changed it to 12 volts, and they did a really nice job. So I built a different power supply for that one. They're all on a mounted rack, so they do have their own supplies. But yeah, I really love the dynamotors, and they make a whine, and a lot of people don't like that, but it's kind of a nice sound in the background.
Oh, great. Thanks for that. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I hope you do make some contacts with it.
I hope so. Like I said, my watt meter's showing 5 watts, but I don't know where it's going, but we'll figure it out.
All right. Good stuff. Thanks,
All right,
Russ.
I'll figure out how to stop this.
Here, I got it for you.
Okay.
All right. Hey, George, what's going on out in Maine, York, Maine?
Okay. Had to get myself unmuted. Not a whole lot. It's got a lot of snow and ice out here right now, but other than that, we're hanging in there.
Good to hear.
Yeah. Two things. My $10 deal was nowhere as good, but one thing that we were driving past Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I happened to be looking on Facebook, and someone had this available for $10.
Oh,
and
nice. Not
yeah,
bad.
it's kind of a nice deal.
In nice shape
It's
too,
a,
it looks.
yeah, it is, and it plays on top of that, both AM and FM.
Yeah, yeah, AM and FM. That's good. Usually
Nice.
the
Yeah,
$10 ones are AM
it's even
only
got
and
like,
they're a dull
looks like the
brown.
original.
Ah,
Yeah,
you guys are making out.
yeah. So I mean, it's the
That's
original
terrific.
color, and
Oh, the sticker on the bottom
I
and
love
everything.
it.
yep,
That's in great
yep. And
shape.
looks like he had set up some stuff for like with an RCA connector, and evidently the guy's dad had stuck it in his garage or had done something with it. So I haven't gone and opened it up or gone digging into it, but that was like a fun thing because I've always liked those sets, and I knew that they were FM, so it's kind of neat. The other
Yeah.
thing was I was on Facebook, and there's so many darn groups that you get hooked into having to do with antique radios. But this was kind of neat because I have one of these radios, and I've never tried to get into it to restore it. And let me see if I can put me in the share my screen and see if I can flip over to it.
Okay.
The screen and share, and let me see if I can.
Oh.
Maybe I can do it this way. Gotta put this into a full screen mode of some sort here. There we go.
Even if you can't, we get the idea. It's way cool.
Yeah,
Wow, that is
this is an Echo radio. They're British, and I've got several
yes.
different round Echo radios, but this is the A22. It was I think it's about 1945 that it was made,
Oh,
and so the others were
this-
in the 30s. But this is just Bakelite.
is
At some
it?
point, I'll tell you about one of the others that where I have a repro, and there's a whole story behind it. But I can do that, some other time. But this is an A22. It's a 3-tube radio, and
Wow.
it works pretty well. I'm told that's from this guy. This is not my radio. Mine is black and chrome.
Okay.
And but anyways, the reason I wanted to bring it up was it brought back a whole bunch of memories of back when I was a kid. And you go to the surplus stores, the army surplus.
Yeah.
And the reason it did this is I haven't started working on mine. I bought it, I loved it. It was kind of eye candy, but I just I hadn't started restoring it. So let me see. These are this is what the front looks like as far as the chassis.
Got it.
And this is kind of interesting because they have the center thing, and it uses a light bulb as its
Right, tracks with
it's this dial. As
Yeah.
you can see on here, down here you got the light bulb. And this is another picture of it. Here's the back side of the chassis, and you can see actually it's got 3 tubes and a power tube, so I guess it is 4. But this was what really brought back the nostalgia. This is on the chassis all the way around.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It reminded me a lot of back then. You could buy all kinds of surplus stuff, and there was a lot of stuff like for missiles and guidance systems, and a lot of them were built around a round type chassis. And
Yeah.
again, this is from 1945, so it's not like it's. But I thought this was so cool
It
to
is.
have most of your components around here. Basically, when we looked at the front, there's not a lot of wiring here other than going out to that all the components here. And so anyways, I just thought that was so cool, and it's kind of giving me some inspiration that says, maybe I'll get around to taking my set out and go in there and kind of get it going. So
Yeah, that's great.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Very unusual.
Yeah, it is. And there's a whole series of these round echo radios that were I guess they're kind of hard to find without having the cabinets kind of had gotten cracked, and a lot of the dials on these were made with material that would shrink. And so you'd end up having all kinds of problems with this. I have one set where the whole thing kind of crinkled up, and I was able to fortunately reproduce it on, on the computer and bring it to like Kinko's or whatever and have them, uh, take my printout and laminate it, and it turned out okay. But this is just one of those things, and it's kind of interesting to find. And I just thought I would show it and let you guys see it. That's all.
No, appreciate it, Joe. That is fun, really interesting, and it's certainly unusual. You don't see echoes very often.
No, you're right. And it's taken me many years to get them. I always fell in love with them, but it's one of those things where I'm just fortunate to have done it. So let me see if I can get back here and stop my share.
No problem.
And I will turn it back over to you guys. So those are my two things.
All right. Thank you, George. That was terrific. All right. Let's see here. Ken, what's going on?
Yeah, good evening, all. So it's certainly nothing the scale and scope that you guys are doing, but a couple of successes in the past months I'll share. Let's see, maybe I'll do this one first. So let me share my screen. So about 5 years ago, I picked this unit up at Stowe Car Meet up in Vermont. And
okay.
The guy said it worked. I brought it home. I couldn't get any meter movement out of it at all. So I was like, damn. So I just kind of put it under the bench, walked away with it. A couple of years ago, I pulled it out, took another run at it. Nothing. Then I was reading the manual that came with it. There's a calibration procedure in the back. So I set it up to do it just required to apply I think a 13.2 volt to the leads, and you could set the RPM adjust and stuff like that. And so I did that, and lo and behold, the meter actually was good. It's just that I couldn't get enough adjustment out of the pot to bring it to the calibration point. So I said, well, let me check some of the resistors. Well, every single resistor in it, they're all discrete axial lead resistors were low, but there's only like 5 or 6 values in it. So I just went off and bought all new resistors, and I have yet to swap them all out. Kind of got sidetracked a little bit. I've been redrawing the schematic in KiCad because I noticed a couple of errors in their schematic when I was tracing the wires. And so that's kind of one project that's percolating right now. So the guy had $10 on it. I offered him 5, and he took the 5. So that was a good deal. All right, let me.
Yeah, that is. That's we don't see automotive test equipment very often.
Yeah. I have a 66 Pontiac Grand Prix, so
Oh, you do? Oh.
It had points. I actually have since swapped the points out for one of those Protronics ignitions.
Can't say I blame you.
Yeah, but you can still use it to adjust the RPMs and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's got a nice big scale. So I'll get this thing running. And like I said, there's only 2 caps in it too. I'll probably end up swapping the caps. Although they are, looks like they're Mylar caps, so they're probably good. So a pretty simple design. You can see it was built in Bronx, New York, I guess.
Yeah.
White Plains Road, Bronx, New York. I was lucky to get the user's guide with it too. All right, let me show. I think I have to stop share.
Yeah, you can if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so another over the winter project. Oops. So, a lot of us have microwaves over our stoves, the kitchen for the wives. And the first one I had was a Sharp unit that lasted 20 years. And we only swapped it out because we wanted some of the newer bells and whistles. Well, since then, I've gone through a litany of about five over-the-counter microwaves. Well, this is a Samsung. It's now coming up on about 10 years old. I think I put it up in 2015. It has a VFD display, Well, in the past 3 years, it basically was getting dimmer and dimmer to the point where you couldn't read it anymore. You just kind of knew what you were pressing and,
Hope.
hope for the best. So the wife was starting to make noise. Hey, maybe it's time to get a new one. I said, all right, let me just take a run at this VFD display. Now I don't know too much about VFDs. I know they do require higher voltages. I was looking at some videos and they're doing things like heating up apparently there's some thin filaments that go across the front of the screen. And they were like heating up the filaments to rejuvenate the filaments and stuff like that. I'm like, anyways, it was really easy to get at the whole control panel. A couple screws popped right out, a couple connectors, and there was like 9 different caps on it. Well, I just looked at where the split was and the transformer was for the high voltage for the VFD. And I said, let me just shotgun those 5 caps. And I shotgunned the five electrolytics. One was a 470 microfarad 100 volt. That was probably the problem. They all looked fine, but I just shotgunned. I had them in my spare set. Just shot. It took me half an hour because they're all through hole, solder stuck, a bing bang boom, had them in and put it back up. And lo and behold, I got a display back. So
Nice.
take the wins where you can get them.
Yeah.
I did go back and measure the caps with a simple LCR meter. The 470 did measure out, with no voltage across it at like 380. So I'm guessing that was the problem. Once you put voltage on it, that even deteriorates even more. So I'll take the wins where I could get them, and it made the wife happy. So
yeah, that's big.
That's been my winter.
Very nice. Thank you, Ken. That's awesome.
Yep.
Look at the money you saved on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all right. Let's see here. Hugh, what's going on? But you're on mute. Hey, Hugh, we have to get you unmuted there.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah, I was saying not a heck of a lot. My electronics bench is just overflowing with stuff. I can't even hardly get close to it. But a couple of things. Let me try sharing. Let's see if this works. So one of the things on the bench is this old waffle iron, which can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's full of, it's all asbestos wire, the cord, the wiring inside and such. So I'm, let's see, what am I doing here?
This is not AMF and waffle iron.
Yeah, no, not AMF, but it was my son-in-law's grandfather and grandmother's, and came out of their house, and my daughter asked me to fix it for them to use. And that was almost a year ago. Here's some of the stuff. Oops, some of the stuff inside. You can see where it's got mica for insulation. Between the different pieces. But anyway, it took like 9 months, and I said to my daughter, "Hey, look what I'm working on." She goes, "Oh, I already got a waffle iron." Sorry.
I'm going to see that at your table at Castleton.
Yeah, right. No, I think I'll give it to someone else in that family. Another repair there's the workbench. So yeah, you could see it's a little tied up. The thing here on the workbench next to the liquor drink there is a paper shredder. So I've ran into this several times. The photo sensor to see if there's paper.
Yep.
Well, this was interesting. So it was running continuously. It wouldn't stop. And I said, oh, it's probably the photo sensor or the LED and, this and that gets a little weak and thinks there's paper there all the time. So I opened the whole thing up, and right in front of the photo sensor is this piece of paper. I said, that's it. So I don't even bother testing it. I put it all back together, 9 long Phillips head screws buried deep in the bottom of it. And sure enough, it's still running. So I go in and measure the current on the LED, and it's a little low, like 5 milliamps. And I think those LEDs are probably good for 20 or so. But over time, since that LED is on all the time, its output goes down. So I just halved the resistor on it, doubled its current, and voila, the paper shredder is brought back to life. So that's
Wow.
fun. In the woodworking realm, I had the sliding door replaced. Um, well, there's a mea culpa here. I measured the rough opening wrong and ordered the new sliding door small. So I couldn't face it. I hired some guys to install it. And I said, nah, go ahead, I'll do the interior trim because I was actually doing this maple trim you could see here.
Yeah, very nice.
And I've done that on a bunch of windows and doors around the house. But the door is made for 2x4 walls, and it comes with 2-inch extension jams along the edge here. So I figured I'm just going to pop in the extension jams, throw on the trim, and I'm off to the races. No. They installed the door tilted. It was bigger than the 2-inch extension jam, so I had to make these 3 custom, different dimensions on every side on the doors there. And the last, I'm not sure which back arrow is which here. Well, I guess I showed you that picture. Let me stop sharing. Show you this is the kitchen bay window that I've been working on. I showed the trim piece for it. But one of the things slightly in the electronic realm that I've been doing in the kitchen is making these custom LED strips to snap in up there. So, Amazon, you could buy coils of LED, the strip stuff.
I've seen that.
This is, high brightness, warm white, 24 volts. When we remodeled the kitchen, of course, I ran the wires to all of the, places we might connect such things. But, and then you get the aluminum extrusion.
Oh, sure.
And then glue the LEDs into it. You can see.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a plastic strip they sell that snaps in the cover.
Right.
This stuff snaps in. So that's pretty cool. And then there's all these little remote control, power packs that you could select colors if you put color LED strips in or just brightness on off. That kind of stuff. So I got those. I got a little control gizmo.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually, one more share here. Sorry.
No problem.
Let me see if I can. Let's go. So my deck, I got the. It's on November. That fateful day in November. So this is my deck.
Whoa!
I got these LEDs that you put in the face of the deck stairs, and there's 4 controllers, so you can set the color by row. And this was my election night display.
Oh, right. Okay.
And
Good stuff.
Got it. I'm thinking it's only for July 4th.
Yeah, right. Well, it'll work for that. You can set. Well, orange isn't too good, with 3 LEDs,
Right.
but that could be Halloween. And,
Right. Love it. That is cool.
Yeah, and I'll give it up. I turned the lights off the next night, but that's me. So, all right. Thank you.
That was awesome. We have yet another happy home electronics project or repair.
Yes.
Not bad. Not bad at all. So, well, hey, Joe from Michigan, what's going on in Michigan?
Well, we're gonna get ice tonight, I guess, up to 1/4 inch. So, like, every school has been canceled and closed in the Detroit area.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Oh, I got something I've been waiting to show off for when did I even get this? A couple months ago, I got this. I went.
All right.
The guy posted on Marketplace. He had a ton of radio stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll go check this out.
All right.
And he's
We have to flip on your
Yeah,
video.
so I buy this dude's hoard out of junk. And then he hands me, I'll switch to video in a second.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
There you are.
yeah, I flip it around.
Your voice is breaking up a little bit.
Okay, all right. Now I'm invisible. Do I sound like I'm able to talk?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's
All right. So there's this thing. It's a C.F. Palmer out of London.
interesting.
Yeah, and this guy says, I got this thing 50 years ago when I was a kid, and he said, I figured it was some sort of tuner. And he's like, I can't figure it out. He says, you go like this. It turns out it's quack doctor stuff is what it was.
Hmm.
But it was the
Wow.
wildest thing. He gave me this whole story on it.
I wonder what it does, or where you hook someone up to.
You hook wires up, and he tried to explain there's like a TENS unit where it would like zap your muscles.
Ah, so good old EST.
Yeah, so it's a unique thing. But I couldn't turn it down. He's like, yeah, just take it. I'm like, oh, I guarantee I'm the only person with one of these.
Well, fun for the whole family.
It is. We'll go zap each other.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Looks like a vibrator, you know, an interrupter
Yeah.
on the left
Oh
there
yeah, I
to
do.
generate
Yeah.
high voltage
No, I agree.
with
Yeah.
the magnets and the.
Yeah, like what do? You go like this and make it work?
No,
Got like no resistance.
I think the thing on the left buzzes when you put power on it and generates, you know, uses the AC to generate the high voltage.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, like a old style, you know, magneto in a car or something.
Spark coil.
Yeah.
Spark coil, rather. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on.
That's pretty nifty, though. You don't see though. You're the only kid in the neighborhood with one of those there, Joe.
Right.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those things. I'm like, well, had to have it.
Oh, that's fun, and it's free.
Yeah, it's free. Well, I ended up with I don't even know how many tubes. Probably a couple thousand tubes. I think you could. He's like, just take this with it.
Well, it must be the theme tonight is awesome deals for cheap to no money.
Yeah, more of us are going away and leaving more of this stuff on the market, I think is what's going on. Well, how was the tube collection? Anything good in there?
A couple 45s was about it.
No.
Yeah, it was not much. Yeah, it sat in a northern Michigan cabin, and it had already been. I don't know if it was the animals brought in the. It looked like a big Easter basket, is basically what it was. It was full of the plastic stuff and hay and all sorts of stuff. I slowly sorted through it. Only a couple 45. That was sort of a waste. Everything else was like television, or I didn't want to touch it.
Yeah.
And Joe, if I remember, you said you going to be in state? No, but you won't be in state in Massachusetts or New Hampshire for the upcoming show. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or oh, you
Yeah,
will
I'm
be.
going out there. I'm actually talking to my girlfriend right now, booking my flight to be out to fly out on that Friday, and we'll be there on that Sunday
All right. Well, then we'll look forward to seeing you at the
to
show.
see what's going on. Oh yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let there be no ice when you leave.
I hope not.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe. That was awesome. Neat
Oh, yeah.
find. Neat
It
find.
is.
But let's see here. Well, he was there before. I'll call anyway. I saw a pair there, and if we saw a pair there, or maybe I'll circle back later because he stepped away, I think. All right, let's see here. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Doing well, John. And boy, there's some beautiful radios. just absolutely incredible to see how you guys restored them. I wish I could do that with Enigma machines. They need help, and the guy who's been helping me is gone. So I'm going to have to find somebody in Nebec that can help me restore some of those cabinets. The only thing I've got tonight is let me see if I can bring it. Share a screen. Yeah, so for about 50 years, I guess, I've had a website up and been collecting telegraph keys. And um, I get a lot of interesting keys, but I'd say I must have gotten maybe 300 or 400 offers of keys like this. And they're obviously homemade. And the idea of making homemade keys has always interested me. Bugs like this, semi-automatic keys, only cost about $5 back in the early days, but $5 was really a lot of money for a lot of hams. You could buy a Model T Ford for $200, and so I guess the $5 was just prohibitive. And they would look at a bug, pictures of it, and they'd build something like this. And generally they work. And they put an amazing amount of work into them. But this is an example of some of the ones that I've seen over the years. So I just thought I'd show that, and as a sort of an indication of the amount of work that people put into
Wow.
replicas.
Yeah, that's impressive. Wow, that's great. Well, thank you, Tom. That's awesome. Appreciate the sharing. Let's see here. All right. Well, thanks, Tom. That was great. Howard, what's going on with you?
Oh, hi everybody. Yes. Um, yeah, a lot's going on. While I don't have anything major to share, I do have a couple um just interesting things. I think it was a few shows ago that where is it here? Um Camera roll, Nevik. A few shows ago, I'm going to share my screen for a second here. Uh, let's see. Share. Sorry for the delay.
No, no problem.
I showed this. I don't know if you can see that. That's the Browning FM tuner.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
right.
somebody was asking about the indicator, the tuning indicator. And by the way, I just earlier in the show, Joe AB1 IO IO
Devonshire?
yeah,
Devonshire?
Joe Devonshire had that Meisner FM tuner. I was just noticing the similarities between these, both in circuitry and just design. But one thing I did in the over the past week or so is I made this box to show or to demonstrate how this tuning indicator works. I don't recall who it was that asked a question about it, but anyway, I'm probably going to bring this along to um, to the Castleton show for anyone that wants to see how this tube is a little versatile, even though it was not really that popular. It only went into about 150 sets, where compared to the typical Magic Eye tube, which went into over 3,000. Um, this was not received as well as they were hoping, but it does have a lot of possibilities for indication. I've been trying to make a video of it, but it's hard to video something with the green phosphor. So anyway,
Mm.
that was just a project that I had made, and I'm going to bring that along or make a video to show everybody. How am I doing? Yeah, to show everybody at some point.
That'd be
Uh,
fun.
uh, oh,
Are
that
the
this
are
was
the
the
two, excuse me, are the two strips independent?
there's actually three independent. The the left side is controlled by one, then you can control each the top and the bottom independently. So there's three separate controls. Now you see four knobs on the top of this device. The fourth one is for this space charge grid, which will change the sensitivity of all the deflection plates. It will also um, change the um, change the brightness of the tube. Um, so, as I said, it's a very unique and somewhat versatile tube. I gotta spend a little more time making a better video on it, but I just made this box. Actually, the box was something I had lying around from somebody's previous project, and it just happened to have a hole in it, and so I just added all my own electronics in it.
Cool. Love it.
But
Cool.
that's something because it's a unique tube. I wanted to make something specific to demonstrate how that was supposed to work. And there'll be more to come on that. Um, and for those of you who didn't see it, this was an Empire um, Model 207 that I had restored.
Look at
And
this
this is
video.
the one that had the mechanical nightmare of a dial.
Oh yeah.
And I had gone over that. I'm still finding more and more information out about this. Um, one, but yeah, anyway, I'll circle back on that one at some point. So,
Not a problem. That's a big, neat and unusual radio.
yeah, it is. Um, actually, you know, one more thing, if I can find it here. Um, geez, the Echo radio that George was showing earlier. Um, I've always liked those. And one thing I found about round radios in general is that they tend to be, well, from a collector's perspective, expensive. And this is this here, if you can see it, is the 1936 October version of Radio Craft magazine. And there's actually a couple round radios. This number 8 here, I'm going to try and zoom into that a little bit. Um, it's kind of hard to do here with, whoops, I just kind of lost it. Anyway, the round one right there is by Wilcox Gay. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Okay. And then there's another one, which I'm going to show, which is by, let's see, hold on, I gotta move this over here. There's another one down here that's by Stuart Warner. It's in the lower
Wow.
right corner.
I've never seen that.
So yeah, I've seen these in some collections, but like I said, the collectors know their worth and they're very expensive.
Yeah.
But if you look above that Stuart Warner one, what you see there, this number 13,
Ah.
is my
Hmm.
radio, that Empire that I just showed you earlier. And that's how I found the model number. By doing a search for Empire, I finally found this Radiocraft magazine, which had that particular model in it. And it was on the previous page where it said, there it is right there, about halfway up on your right, it says Empire Radio Corporation Model 207.
Yeah.
And that's how I came out with that. So,
Wow, that's a
anyway,
great find. I mean, good sleuthing.
yeah, it took a long time to figure that out, but it was really kind of enlightening when I did finally get there. So,
All right. Well, thank you, Howard. That was awesome. Very interesting. Um, hey, Mr. Bob Bennett, how the heck are you?
I'm hanging in there. I've got stitches in my mouth. I'm getting some teeth installed tomorrow,
Oh, okay. So I won't torture you too
and
much.
I've been taking medication and all kinds of crap, and I just hopefully want to get this done over with. I didn't really plan for this, but I guess what I could do is I will show you my latest acquisition. I have a line. I'll talk and hold my laptop as I walk here.
Sure. All right.
We'll just go down to the workshop. My favorite line is sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah.
And this will be a prime example of that. And I think you guys, sometimes you've probably had the same stroke of luck, but I'll just share my little bit of luck with you. This is all right. I went down here and frankly ordered a bunch of parts and capacitors and stuff today, thinking that they may not come from China. Now, I went to an auction. I'm actually working part-time for an auction company locally here. My wife does it with me, and it's kind of the thing that we do together and have a little fun. Well, at the last auction, an item went up and nobody wanted it. I took a shot at it because it was a radio and it was missing a knob, and I think that's the only reason why nobody wanted it. But I have piles of knobs here, so I went for this.
Whoa. Look
All
at
right.
that.
All right, that's pretty clean shape. I just cleaned the front of it. It had a little bit of dirt and everything. But if you look at the band switch knob, it's definitely not original. But I had a knob that just at least made that respectable.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I got this. This is a completely working radio.
Okay.
All right. $5.
Oh, look at that. You guys, another steal.
So I wasn't planning on buying it, but I figured in the interim, I do have on the side, I've got I have a fondness for Hammerlin stuff. So I have an HQ 129 that's been sitting there waiting for me to recap it for a couple of years, but that'll happen. But in the interim, I got that to play with. So
awesome. Look at this. I can't believe
it's
this.
better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, it looks like there seems to be a theme for tonight's meeting. Oh, there he is. I called out to you earlier. Oh, thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Well, look who just arrived back, and I can call on him is Pear. How the heck are you, Pear? Whoop, you're on mute. Whoop, okay, get you. Just gonna get you. There you are.
All right. Well, the project I have is a little bit different from the other projects. This thing that I am holding up here, are you able to see it?
Not yet, no.
Raise it up a little bit.
Yeah, we can see you. There we go. A little
okay.
higher. Maybe just a little higher. Okay. It looks like a car part.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It is a this box contains a servo motor.
Okay.
And the reason for the servo motor is that it is used to control when you have your heater on and you turn the switch as to whether the air is going to go towards your feet, it's going to go towards the windshield, or it's going to come out straight at you. This system tends to fail. And from what I found out by watching YouTubes, it tends to fail the same way on mine as on the other ones, where the air just comes out the dashboard. Okay. Which is fine, except if it's cold out, then your feet freeze, or worse yet, you can't clean the windshield very well.
Right.
So I therefore watched several YouTubes. One of them, the guy actually took the thing apart and cleaned all the contacts and got the thing working. But the other ones, like me, they all bought a new one or reconditioned one on eBay. And so that's what I did. Now, the problem is that to install this, you have to have your head leaning on the gas pedal with your face pointing straight up.
Yeah, I bet.
And picture what your body has to do in order to accomplish that.
Yeah, that's not easy.
And 20 years ago, I already cracked some ribs while fussing around under the dashboard of a car. So I wanted to get my youngest grandchild, who is 14, to come and do it. But who showed up yesterday? One of the instead of he's a boy, one of the girls together with a friend, and they got the darn old one out and put the new one in. But it was a
Nice.
big struggle because a plate fits onto this. The plate has got um, uh, zigzag slots, and arms fit into the zigzag slots. And depending upon the angle of this shaft, though the um, arms fit into those zigzag slots. Two arms fit in, and they move and they control the vanes, the doors that need to be opened and closed. And but to get that plate to pop off, there it has a little clip on it, and when you look at the thing, when the way you can see the thing inside, you're seeing it looking about like this.
Okay.
You cannot see from this angle, but you have to unclip a clip in order to slide this thing off of the rest of it. And each of them, each of the two girls tried and tried and tried, and finally it got it off. Then it was a question of getting the right, once the screws were out and the thing was taken off, trying to remember the exact orientation to get a screw to get the thing started to put it back together.
Yeah.
So in any case, something that you would expect should be able to be done in half an hour, it was like an hour and a half. But I did have them watch the two best YouTubes first in order to have a thorough idea of what the purpose was of doing this. And naturally, they were happy as could be that the thing worked fine afterwards.
Nice.
So
Nice.
this was just 2 days ago that this occurred. So that's my project.
Cool. Well, we've had home electronics repaired, and now we have a actuator in a car repaired. This is quite
and
quite
also
a productive club.
right near my time in Thailand, I found that I could get W the station, Bob's station. I keep blanking on what its name is. The AM radio station at 740 on the dial.
Oh, Zoomer Radio?
Huh?
Zoomer Radio up in Canada, in Toronto?
No. I'm talking about WJIB. Those
it's local.
the local one that I was able to actually stream that sitting in my condo there in Thailand.
Oh, nice. I didn't know they're streaming that station now.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing that.
Somebody is streaming it. Well, they had put on a little bit of information about it, but when I went on there were a listing of several things, and one of them said free streaming, and there it was, live.
Well.
And I know it was live because on the hour he has bells ring, the Constitution bells ring to show the hours, and it happened to be 12-hour difference of time. So
right.
When it was 8 p.m. in the evening, it chimed there 8 p.m. in the morning at the actual station. So that was my other interesting thing to find out. And that's all for me for
right.
now.
All right. Well, thank you, Per. Always good to hear, good to see and hear from you. All right. Well, let's see here.
Okay.
I'll reach out. Now, Isaiah, I know you've been accent got flyer on the wall, but you're welcome if you want to say anything or anything you want to add here. But I think this is the second meeting you've managed to attend. But if you just want to, if you have nothing to say, that's perfectly fine too. There he goes. Oh, he's actually typing it in. Okay, there we go. But he is in the process of 3D printing a radio mount for KC1 VHL's 2 mm mobile rig. And he's also working on repairing a Motorola, pardon me, R2001A communication systems analyzer with some character display issues for the Twin State Radio Club. Got a bunch of other projects on the bench, including restorations, but have taken a back burner lately. Well, hey, Isaiah, I appreciate that. Always good to hear, even if it's written form, any form of communication is always welcome. But thanks for joining. Well, I could, if you want, I can either end this meeting on time, or I do have something I can share. I can either wait or to show what the next meeting is. I'll give a quick backdrop. Is back on December 20th. This has been going for a few months. A nice woman from the Hamilton, around the Utica area in New York, had found our club and used our contact form and had about 6 radios from her deceased father's estate that she wanted to donate to the club. So she frequents our area here and there, and we managed to meet on December 20th. I went over with my wife's SUV, and then I picked up 6 very nice radios, completely boxed up. Because he was living in Florida, so he was boxed up to be able to move safely without damage. So essentially 6 copier boxes all wrapped up in foam and bubble wrap and so forth. And so I picked them up and took a look at all of them and burned them up on a Variac just to see, get initial sign of life. I could show the pictures now, but it'll probably go take 10 or 15 minutes, but I can also just defer to the next meeting and show you because those radios will be going to not this year's silent auction, but probably the following Vintage Electronics Expo meeting, probably in 26, I would imagine. And
Well,
Ralph,
maybe save it for next time.
Yeah.
Since you've got lots of time to go.
yeah, exactly. So because next meeting will be, I think got a couple of things that we might do, but I can certainly I might do is take the first 10, 15 minutes to cover that and cut you guys off exactly at the top of the hour. But so why don't I do that? But well, it was great having you guys. Great meeting. Lots of interesting stories. This was a great roundtable. Really appreciate the interesting stories and show and tell and presentation. So thanks very much, guys. Looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. It's actually gonna be 3 weeks because it turns out that week that we normally would be on the 19th is my wife's birthday, and I don't know my availability on the previous Tuesday, and I'm traveling on Thursday. So I decided to block that week out. So it'll be 3 weeks away. It'll be on February 26th. So that'll be the Zoom meeting just before our March show in Castleton. So if you guys also think about things you're looking for or whatever, or planning to sell, you could use that meeting for a quick showing saying, hey, I've got a table. I'm going to be selling this really cool thing. So beware. But
Well, I'll be tuning in from Washington, D.C. because I'll be staying with my only remaining college friend and his wife there. And I hope he has an interesting project that I can talk to you about then.
Oh, all right. You're welcome to jump in and show us what's going on down there, Per. You're traveling, doing more traveling than I'm doing. Good for you.
Yeah.
But at any rate, well, guys, it was great. Great meeting. Have a great 3 weeks. Stay safe, stay healthy. Hopefully the weather will start improving. And we'll be talking to you over the usual Group SIO meeting mail reflector, and we'll see you pretty soon in 3 weeks.
All right, great. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Really
Sean.
appreciate it. Feel better, Bob.
Thank you.
Feel better, Steve. And we'll see you around.